Hey!
This is JJ and Alex.
I made a name for myself, I told you I won't be denied.
As you wrap up your day, it's time to get your fix of the teams you live for and the sports you love. This is JJ and Alex on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Welcome on in on a Wednesday. JJ and Alex, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Jeremiah Jensen, Sly Sylvester sitting in for Alex Kirry once again, keeping the seat warm.
Hey, yo.
Keeping it hot.
Let's go. I feel great. It's been a great start to this week.
Why do you feel so great?
Get to come in studio, talk about sports. Did I forget the donuts today, Alex?
Oh, he forgot the donuts.
Promise I will get those tomorrow.
Ate them early here.
No, I haven't, but I've been dreaming about it. I had a dream about donuts last night, so it was great. It's great.
You had a dream about donuts.
Hey, man, I don't know. My dreams, I have like 8 different things. That's why I know they're dreams, because I'm like, this is just wild. Like, what the hell is going on? From me still playing football to me going to the dojo and just having a donut smorgasbord to traveling.
You have dreams about the dojo?
It goes all over the place. That's how I know they're dreams. It's just stuff that just doesn't make sense.
You know you're officially a middle-aged man when you're having dreams about donuts.
I mean, it used to be tequila and parties, but, now it's
Not
just
anymore.
different.
Now it's all about donuts. Welcome to the club, Sly. You're one of us now.
Oh, yes. I love it. I'm
dreaming about
it.
donuts.
Embracing it.
Well, hey, dreaming about donuts is something to embrace, right? There's nothing wrong with getting old.
No,
All of you out there listening, you can tell Sly there's nothing wrong with getting old, right?
Man, yeah. It's all about how you take it.
Father Time is undefeated.
It is. So embrace it. Yeah. You got guys like LeBron who's embracing it.
Yeah. I don't know if he's embracing his partnership with Luka very much. It was kind of awkward last night.
I don't think he cares. He paid $52 million. I know my value. I was on a walk with my wife, and we were just talking about that. And like, he's in a latter part of his career. I really don't think a lot of people talk about ring chasing and this and that.
Yeah.
And we actually talked about it kind of off air yesterday about stat chasing at this point in your career and where are you at, and do you fault somebody to be 23 years in to be stat chasing now?
What's left to chase?
But what is there, right? Like, for me, that's what I would do. If I was 23 years in, I've accomplished it. I've been league MVP. I've been all of these different things. That's what I would be doing. I'd be trying to set records that I want to make sure no matter whatever rule change the NBA implements, nobody will ever be able to attain or achieve or break my records, right? Like, there's a staple of records are meant to be broken, right? Tom Brady says this. And I think LeBron's just out on a page right now that are like, never break my records, right? Who's going to be, at the end of their career, 45+ thousand points, 11,000 plus rebounds, 11,000 plus assists?
Nobody will be able to do that in NBA
right?
history forever.
Minutes, games. I'm setting
How about
records.
the 22 straight All-Star games?
That's crazy.
That's insane.
21 straight starter.
Right. Insane.
Yeah.
Insane statistics, insane career.
Right.
And at the same time, it feels like LeBron's like that guy at your company who's retiring in 6 months, and everybody knows it, and he's acting like it.
He's acting like it, yeah, for sure.
Like, I don't give a you-know-what, and I'm going to do things my way. And that's kind of how it feels like with him in L.A. right now. Like, everybody knows, like, the Lakers are moving towards being Luka's team, if they're not already. Mm-hmm. And plus, there's other good players, like, Reeves is a really good player on that team, and like, feels like that franchise is just ready to move beyond LeBron. Mm-hmm. But he's got, 25 games left on his contract. And he's just going to be like, you know what? I'm here. I know you all want me to leave.
Right.
You want my $50 million to leave your books.
Right.
And you're ready to move on without me, but I'm still here, and I'm going to make your life difficult
Here's
while I'm here.
Here's the thing, too, and this is what a lot of people always say. They're like, oh, he's so old, it's this and that. I'm just like, do you know the value that he'll bring to your business? Let's just put on your business hat.
Oh, of course.
Forget the basketball hat. Put your business hat on.
Yeah.
What would your business improve if he's on your roster? If he's Udonis Haslem, not doing anything, but still on your roster, how much does that improve your business, your revenue, your bottom line? right? Is he worth that risk? And I think he's a guy that understands that as far as his value and what he brings to the table. And sorry, what I was getting at was the example of his business partnership with Blaze Pizza and how he 15x'd his investment just based off of his name being attached to that business. Right. And so that's somebody
power.
Understanding their value.
That is real power when you can do that, and he still has that power. But as far as being that
dominant player,
$50 million a year player in the league, I don't know that he's that anymore. And so it will be really interesting if LeBron decides, I'm going to do one more year, I'm going to do a farewell tour, and where am I going to do that tour? Or if he just decides at the end of this contract with the Lakers, I'm 41 years old now.
Call it.
Peace out, Can't
fault him either way.
Right.
But, critics and the topics that we need to talk about is what personality is he?
Feels to me like he's the guy that wouldn't mind the farewell tour.
I don't think he would mind that either.
I just feel that way. And you made the point. Like, the dude is a businessman now.
Yes, he owns a media company. Why would you not do
a farewell tour is an opportunity to market and to profit and all those kind of things.
He's a billionaire with a media company.
Do not fault him in any way, shape, or form.
It make sense. I wish I had betting odds in Vegas on this.
He's not going to be John Stockton and say at the with tears in his eyes at a press conference at the end of the season, I'm done, and we never hear from him ever again. Right?
He's going to be in movies.
Until he ends up on some wacky podcast or something 20 years from now.
Drinking wine and talking about internal issues.
Just who knows what it's LeBron's not going to do it the way John Stockton went out. So
right.
So BYU, that's where we're going to have to start the show today. What happened last night was shocking. I didn't expect it to be like that. We talked in the show yesterday about how tough UCF was going to be coming in here. That was a hungry team that had an opportunity to get a quad one win on the road against a top 20 team. They were on a mission, and BYU wasn't ready for what they brought. And it was shocking how things went down last night at the Marriott Center. We're going to break down that game and what this means for this team moving forward. How do they move forward? BYU basketball is the cut right now.
It's time for the biggest story of the day. This is what made the cut with JJ and Alex on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
The BYU Cougars rarely lose at the Marriott Center. Obviously, there's some really good Big 12 teams that have been able to go in there and get it done. Iowa State couldn't. Iowa State's ranked 4th in the country. They couldn't win at the Marriott Center on Saturday. BYU played their best game of the season
this past weekend
on Saturday. 3 days ago, 4 days ago. They looked great. The supporting cast played out of their minds. Even with Rob Wright not being very productive points-wise, A.J. DeBonsa was incredible. One of his great college performances this season, which is going to be his only season in college hoops. It was a performance that I think BYU fans are going to remember when they think of A.J. DeBonsa. They're going to remember him nearly getting a triple-double and beating Iowa State, the number 6th-ranked team at the time, at the Marriott Center. So to go from the high of Saturday to the dumpster fire of last night is something I'm having a hard time processing. How did that happen? How did the BYU Cougars go from beating the number 4 ranked team in the country at the Marriott Center on Saturday and then turn around and get absolutely crushed, trailing by as much as 36 points against UCF in the Marriott Center? No disrespect to UCF.
But
last night we saw that's a good team. That is an NCAA tournament team. But it's like a 10 or a 9 seed at best. They went into your building and they punked you. They made you look like you didn't belong in the NCAA tournament. You did not look like a top 20 team last night, BYU. What happened? How is that explained? That was one of the worst defensive performances I've ever seen.
Right.
Wide open shooters all over the place. Wide open looks from the corner again and again and again. No resistance. I'm not going to go as far as questioning the effort. I think there's some guys on that team that are tired. I think that there is some fatigue. They don't have a lot of depth.
No.
And you're also not going to get consistency out of some of the role players. Some guys that had great games on Saturday didn't show up last night. That's kind of how it goes sometimes with guys that play certain roles or guys that are just in the rotation and not go-to guys. Rob Wright really struggled, though, and that didn't help. AJ was fine, but AJ didn't have the same juice that he had on Saturday. And you know what? I'm not criticizing. He's human. He's not going to be able to turn out a performance like that every night. And we talked yesterday.
Especially he's a true freshman too, right?
Exactly.
Like,
and we talked yesterday, Sly, about the fact that how many nights in a row, I'm not talking successive days, but how many games in a row, let me say it that way. How many games in a row can you play 40 minutes and still bring it consistently each and every game?
It's a great look at March coming up, right? You're completely correct. And when we talked to JT yesterday about all of it, yeah, it's not really possible, even though you think you can. Like I talked about it, like talking about AJ DeBonta, what he was talking about in the post game after the Iowa State game. He's like, I'm young, I love it. I want to play 40 minutes all the time. It's nothing to me. I've been in these emotional games, right? And this is something for AJ's future to be able to have, because this is going to be the NBA too, right? And,
oh yeah.
You get into these emotional games, and the hardest part is not the output in that game, but it's recalibrating to reset for the next week, right? And me being in the NFL and knowing that from playing our arch rivals and the Ravens, which is an emotional battle, right? From the physicality standpoint is one, but then the emotional toll it takes on you, and the game is extra long, and the endings are always something crazy that takes a little bit more energy out of, and then coming down from all of that, and then you go and play the Bengals the next week. Right? You got to retool and recalibrate and still have that same. It is extremely difficult to do. One, he's young, so it's learning stages, but for the rest of the team, where are they? Right. And like they were completely blanked. So I think they had 24 points in the first half, 27 points in the first half. Yeah. The 28 points in the first half.
Yeah. 52-28, I believe, was the halftime score.
Yeah, man. It was abysmal.
Allowing that many points on your home floor in a half is.
At a half
yeah.
in college basketball is atrocious. And you know, maybe it is one of those things. Maybe we needed this loss before we get into the tournament to kind of humble ourselves, right? Because we kind of thought it was made. And here's the thing, too, that I've seen in football and definitely with my analysis and stuff is expecting other people to make the play, right?
Yeah.
Expecting AJ to be superhuman and win this game for us instead of me doing my job, right, as a team, right? We talked about how important those role players are to be consistent on the road, right, and to lift a little bit of that burden off of Wright and DeBonta. But, yeah, man, it's tough. And the performance that they put on, the only benefit or the only plus, because I'm an optimist, that you could take from that is it was during the season.
Yeah, it was on a Tuesday night.
Right. Tuesday night during the season.
And if you move on and you go have a great game next and you start playing better, then you can forget about it. I mean, BYU had a stinker in Stillwater against Oklahoma State on the road. That was a bad performance.
Right.
Kind of similar. They got their butts kicked by a team they had no business
getting
being
their butt kicked by.
Controlled, allowing 97 points to Oklahoma State?
99.
UCF made 11 threes in the first half. They were 11 of 16 from three. In a half. I don't have words for how bad they defended in this game. And you really worry if you're a BYU fan moving forward, and you're trying to be an optimist, and I think BYU fans appreciate that, but I don't think there's a lot of optimism right now in BYU Nation. I think they're shell-shocked. I think fans are looking like, what in the world?
What?
How can you be that bad? When you know you're not that bad.
It sucks because you can't – I'm not going to – and this is the difference in basketball and football, right? Football, you got one opportunity, right? But this is not something where I go dumpster fire and say throw the whole program away type thing, right?
No,
and so, like, you have off nights. You have off days where you do not look like who you are. There is days like that. It doesn't matter what level you're at, from high school to college to the pros, even to rec leagues, right? Like, there's days where you have like that. I really believe that was the day, because like the defense that was played last night, the allowing those threes, the closeouts were absolutely atrocious.
Yeah, the rotations, there was confusion everywhere.
Yeah, it's like, you guys ain't played
were
ball.
lost.
Y'all didn't watch film. Like, what's going on here? And so like, you have those days. And again, optimistically, it was still during the season, and everything you want is still out in front of you. That's my takeaway, because I've had these days where like I'm trying to squeeze this square peg into this round hole, and it's just not working, and I just off, right? I missed every shot. I could be wide open, no pressure, nobody's even closing out to me, and I could miss that shot. I've missed layups, shoot, wide open layups, missed, right? And so like there are days where you get off days, but when it comes to crunch time, which March is all about. March is all about crunch time, man, and that's when the A players, a.k.a. Jimmer Fredette, comes out, and you don't have off days. You are just in the zone. You just black out, and you just go. And that is what you're hoping as a BYU fan. Your number one ace players in Debonsa, Wright, and Keba, like all these guys can come out and make that happen, right? And Keba Kite and just have outstanding performances, play out of their minds, right? And that's why basketball is dangerous, and you have these smaller schools that can come up and beat you on any given day.
Yeah, and the Big 12's tough, and UCF I think they're going to be an NCAA tournament team. I think they probably punched their ticket last night.
Right.
You win at the Marriott Center in that fashion, you can ball. Like, that team had ballers. Those guys were tough. And we knew it going in. We talked about it yesterday. This is not a surprise to us or them. They knew. I mean, BYU
records,
was
right?
a double-digit favorite. They had the exact same conference record. BYU now trails UCF in the standings in the Big 12, which before the season, I don't think anybody would have expected that. BYU is now tied with TCU at 8-7. The Cougars are in 7th place. And this is where I think the frustration comes, is it's based on expectations. Mm-hmm. And when BYU was whole at the start of the season, the expectations were fair and real. You have the number one player in the country on your roster. You added Rob Wright at point guard, who was an established star in the college game. And you had Richie Saunders coming back, who was a legit second-round pick at the time, and I think he played his way up until the injury. He was looking like he could play his way into the late first round. He was that good and had that many good games this year. And you had a supporting cast, and it looked like you had some depth, and you had some pieces, and everything was going to come together. And early in the season, you saw them struggle a little bit. They had some halves where you're like, oh, that's not good. But they would have the comeback, like the comeback against Delaware, the comeback against Clemson. They fought back and clawed back against UConn and made it a really interesting game. Well, it's UConn. That's a national title contender. UConn's a really good basketball team. And they only lost to them by 2 points. Like, BYU's right there, and they're young, and they're going to get better as the season goes along. But we've seen everything happen and play out, and it's been one spell of adversity after another. And that's life, and that is sports. This is why sports are such a great analogy for life, is you go through the challenges, and you go through the ups and downs, and things that happen you never expect, you have to deal with it. And so part of the reason why there is a lot of frustration with the team right now is because of the expectations going into the season were so high, but they were legit. It was for good reason. And now the frustration is having to recalibrate your expectations for this team when you have a once-in-a-generation player at BYU. And that sucks because you had such high expectations of doing something special. And AJ is special, and he is having a special season. And what happened last night doesn't take away from that. He got 29 points. Yes, 12 of them were in garbage time. I get it. It was a little bit of a stat stuffer there for AJ last night. It wasn't a memorable game, even though he got 29 points, but he's sticking around that average of near 30 points a game, which is insane. You got a guy scoring next to 30 points per game for you. He's one of the best players in the country. He still could be the Big 12 Player of the Year. But the frustration with BYU is because it doesn't feel like they are meeting the expectation even after some of the adversity. And what you saw last night led many people to question the effort of this team. And when people are questioning your effort, whether it's fair or not, that's not a place where you want to be, and that's where BYU is right now. How will they respond moving forward? I can't wait to see. But right now, things look really dark in Provo, and I didn't think we would be talking about this
late in the season.
In late February.
Right.
To your point, yes, you get into a tournament, and it's one game, and anything can happen, and you have the best player in the country, in my opinion, on your team. He can go off and have a big game and win it for you.
Right.
But it is a team game.
Yes.
And it is a physical game when you get to March. And I didn't see a physical team on the court last night for BYU. It was the other way around. But that other team didn't really have to get that physical because it was too easy. This BYU team, it can't be too easy.
Right. And
the other team has to feel you.
You talk about the Big 12 tournament, right? And we talk about
it's going to be
how
physical.
Stacked. BYU's now at the bottom half, leading
I know.
the bottom half.
You're
of
in
the conference.
7th place.
Yeah, man, it's not going to be easy,
Yeah.
man. It's crazy. So Big 12 tournament, March Madness tournament, and it's not even guaranteed they get a bid in the March Madness tournament now.
They've done enough. They've got a resume, and they got AJ. They're not going to get left out of the tournament.
If they blow,
they're not going to get left out of the tournament.
If they blow these last 3 games,
but their seed can drop anywhere from 7 to 10. If you go in a tailspin, then your seeding can drop.
okay,
I'm not denying
what
that.
if you're the other 8 teams, 7 teams ahead of BYU, and you're like, why is BYU in there? And
because those teams are going to have. I mean, especially UCF. UCF was 10 in the latest bracketology. I'm probably putting them in an 8 or 9 now.
Yeah.
And you have to drop. You're right to your point. You got to drop BYU.
Yeah.
You got to drop BYU. I mean, right now, would you? I know it's. Are we overreacting a little bit? Sure, but that's what you do.
At this point in the season, it's worth that.
Is UCF better than BYU? Kind of feels like it right now based on what I saw last night.
I mean, as we said, like UCF put on a show.
Yes,
right?
they did. They were hot.
And you were just articulating that it's a team game, right?
Yeah.
We're not seeing team play from BYU. So as a team, I would say yes. And there's some individual players at BYU, but how are they working together to win basketball games? Especially at home. You had everything.
Yeah.
You had home. You had everything there. And so, yeah, consistency is key. And, yes, I would have to say UCF better than BYU at this point.
All this happening now, maybe a road trip is exactly what this team needs, and that's what they're going to get.
Yeah.
East Coast, baby. At West Virginia Saturday, at Cincinnati Tuesday, a Cincinnati team that beat Kansas by double digits. This is not an easy stretch, and then they'll finish the season against Texas Tech. 3 games left for this team to figure some things out, but what we saw last night is very, very concerning. Now, big night for Utah State tonight. They're at Viejas Arena. They're in San Diego, taking on the Aztecs. And this is a great opportunity for Utah State tonight to take control of the Mountain West race. They are in first place, and they did take a step back against Nevada, which, it's not an easy place to go in there and win. But they got a little help from Nevada last night. The Wolfpack beat New Mexico. So now Utah State has a 2-game cushion over New Mexico. New Mexico's 3rd place in the league. San Diego State at 12-4. So first place is on the line tonight in San Diego between Utah State and San Diego State. 9 p.m. tip-off. Scott Gerard will be on the call right here on the KSL Sports Zone. The Aggies feel like the complete opposite of BYU, even though they dropped one at Nevada. They played tough. A couple of things didn't go their way in the final minute, and they don't come away with a win. But that team was red hot, and they'll try to pick that up again. They beat San Diego State in Logan, and I felt like they beat them soundly in Logan recently. So I think this is an opportunity for the Aggies to go down in a hostile environment and show what they're made of and respond to what happened in Nevada. I bet there's a lot of guys in that locker room that felt like they let one slip away in Nevada, and this race could be basically already sewed up if they would have got that win. They would have a 2-game lead right now going into this game. As of now, though, it's a 1-game lead. So a big game tonight for the Aggies. You can hear that game right here at 9 o'clock with Scott Gerard on the call. So we're entering March. It's time to get serious. Which of these teams is going to get serious? BYU, you going to get serious? Utah State looks like they've already been serious. Can they wrap up this regular season conference title?
This is where it gets tight, baby.
It's fun.
This is everything, right?
It's fun.
You got ups and downs every day. For me, in my memory of college basketball, is every day changes, right? We could be so high on teams for beating teams like Iowa State on Saturday, and then Tuesday, all hell is breaking loose.
Yep.
Right, and it's so up and down. And then here, they come on Friday or Saturday whenever they play West Virginia, and they blow out West Virginia. Right, and look outstanding.
Maybe the Cougs
and then
can
we're
do
back.
that.
Hey, it was just a bad day on Tuesday.
Yeah.
How they're going to finish strong. This end of the season is so crazy and so great. Just buckle up, everybody. Just buckle up and just hope for some great basketball because, one, the Big 12 is awesome. So the Big 12 tournament, I think this year, is going to be just as good as watching March Madness. It's going to be absolutely outstanding because you're going to get great basketball games every single game. And I'm very much looking forward to that. It's going to be an awesome, awesome tournament. And then March Madness is great. I think all of basketball right now is riding good. And I wonder who's going to be that unicorn, that small school that comes out, right? There's a guy at, was it Southeastern Arkansas, something like that. It's some little school, and he is killing everybody. All the Big Ten schools he is murdering. I got to find out his name because there's a little highlight online or whatever about him, and he was going off. Which little school is going to come out and make March Madness just absolutely terrific? Right, and so that's what basketball is so great is because you never know. Just because you have number one player in the nation, or you guys have all the stats, and you can still be upset. Right, Arizona lost 2 games in a row, and did anybody expect that? No. And so any day could be your day, man. And that's
Houston's
why
lost 3 in a row.
Right, that's why March is going to be absolutely terrific. And the end of this season is going to be awesome.
All right, before we get to the break, we got some breaking news. Jazz-related breaking news.
Uh-oh.
Now, hopefully nothing's broken, but it is breaking. Lauri Markkanen needs an MRI on his hip and ankle.
You don't say. What happened to him?
I don't know, but he needs an MRI, so he can't play.
Absolutely not.
Nope, he's got to sit out.
Going with the worst team in the NBA.
I mean, if you got an MRI, I mean, it's got to be serious.
Yeah, we definitely can't afford him.
As a precaution, they probably need to have him sit out the rest of the season.
Yeah, I would think that would be the smartest move.
Absolutely.
I can't afford to have wins. You can't afford wins. This is crazy.
Ben Anderson reports, so the severity of Markkanen's injury has not been revealed. The forward joins a long list of Jazz veterans who were sidelined late in the season. Yes, Lauri Markkanen requires an MRI on his hip and ankle. He suffered the apparent injury in practice on Wednesday. That's what we know. So don't know if he's officially on the report or what, or if he's not going to play tomorrow night when they play the Pelicans, but you bet your bottom dollar he's not. Take that to the bank. I don't know. Can you do that on DraftKings? Can you bet whether or not Lauri Markkanen is going to be? I'm just kidding.
I'm pretty sure there is. Don't get like that's part of my parlay.
Okay, we'll add that to it and bet he's not going to play. So there you go. All right, Lauri Markkanen undergoing an MRI in a hip and ankle situation. So we'll keep you updated on that as news develops on Lauri Markkanen's situation. But don't expect him to be on the court anytime soon as he's dealing with that issue. All right, we got to take a break. When we come back, some interesting news developing in college football. Are they finally going to crack down on some of this tampering stuff going on? Look, we know what's going on in the portal, okay? The NCAA wants to do something about it. We'll see if it has teeth next on JJ and Alex, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Ladies and gentlemen,
The biggest name.
You're locked into JJ and Alex. With the insight and analysis on the teams you can't live without. This is 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Boston brings us in here on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. JJ and Alex. Sly in for Alex this week. And this will be a fun topic coming up here in a second. But first, I want to let you know that this segment is brought to you by U of U Health. At University of Utah Health, hope is in their DNA. Learn more at uofuhealth.org. University of Utah Health, for you, for life. The NCAA is trying to show that it has teeth, that it has bite. We know it doesn't. But it's time to crack down on transfer violations. Got to get on top of this.
Man, Yeah. You could just see the stuff coming, though. That's what the crazy thing is. You could see these issues from a mile away. I'm pretty sure there was videos after videos, articles after articles being put out about these things that are going on right now happening, man. So it's almost inevitable. And now it's coming to light. We actually have factual evidence to go off of.
Yeah. So we'll go over this, and this is a report coming from Ross Dellinger, who is just one of the best, if not the best, college football writers in the country for Yahoo Sports. He reported this today, that the NCAA is announcing stiff penalties on schools for adding a transfer outside of the portal window. So let's go over some of this. And Sly, I want to get your thoughts on this, if you think this has teeth or not.
Yeah.
Okay, the NCAA, as I pull up my notes here, things sticking a little bit. The NCAA Football Oversight Committees are proposing penalties for schools that add transfers who left school outside of the portal windows. So I'm going to give you an example of this. And it was for a good reason, but Jake Retzloff last year left outside of the portal window. He left BYU. He's facing a 7-game suspension. We all know why. We don't need to go into the details of that story. But the fact is, he knew he was going to miss games for BYU, was outside the transfer portal window. He decides to transfer. I don't even believe he took a scholarship. I think he was like a walk-on, basically, at Tulane. He found the right program for him. It worked out great for him.
Sure, he made enough money to make up for it, so it's
fine. I'm sure that paying for his tuition and books and
is
stuff
nothing.
wasn't a problem. He may have had to beg for a slice of pizza here and there, but I think he was okay.
All right.
That's an example of this, of transferring outside the window and landing in another spot. Now, that worked out for BYU and Tulane. We all understand that situation, but there's been others where I think there's a player that left Wisconsin or something. There's examples out there if you want to look at me. Yeah, we ended up at Miami, et cetera. So here's some of the proposed penalties. And the NCAA is getting serious. They're considering 7-figure fines, head coach suspensions for some transfer violations. How about being fined 20% of the football budget? That's chunky. That's a chunky.
Jeez.
How about head coach on-field and recruiting restrictions? How about a 6-game suspension? Now, that sounds like a lot, but did Jim Harbaugh's 4-game suspension of the year they won the national title affect Michigan?
No, because that's what I'm saying. I'm like, what does that suspension look like? Oh, yeah, he doesn't show up for games. He's still part of game prep.
Right.
You know, if you look at these head coaches, right, I've been watching Kyle Whittingham the last 20 years, whatever, on the sidelines. I'm like, he's letting his coaches coach. Me being on good teams, the good teams that are on, the head coaches let the coaches coach. If you need somebody to come bring timeouts, I'm sure he's on a headset, in the car on the radio, like, call timeout, dang it, right? Like, he don't need to be on the field. Like, there's ways around that. Now, the suspension, is he away from the team? Now, that is what's significant, right? And so, like, what are the nuances behind suspending a coach? Now, these 7-figure fines, wow, that's something. That'll perk up some ears of some businesses. Right?
How does the NCAA enforce that fine?
How do you, though? That's what I don't know. That's the business side and the lawyers and all that.
Does a school end up suing the NCAA because they're trying to enforce that?
I'm telling you, there's no better time to be a lawyer. All kinds of different lawyers.
That we can agree on.
From disability lawyers.
That is not debatable.
To arbitrary lawyers. This is the best time. It's easy work. I put out a little social ad to say, hey, you need a lawyer for this, and this. Bro, your phone's blowing off the hook. This is the greatest time to be a lawyer right now. There is work, and the fees that you could charge us. Oh, my gosh, right? And so, like, greatest time to be a lawyer, especially with college billion-dollar industry in whatever college sports is now. But I think this is what makes people perk up. Affect my pocket. Affect my bottom line some way. You're going to get some change. You're going to get some people to do it, but you got to have some defined things around it because, like, coaches suspensions, these things, like, how does it really affect the team, right? Just because you don't have Harbaugh there for your media gaffes on the sidelines, was he a part of all game planning for the game of things that really affect the team? If you take that away, because a head coach suspension should be like you have the possibility of losing games because this person isn't there, right? If this guy isn't there, what ways is he affecting the team when he is there, and are you taking that away? game day head coaches, you make some great decisions, but I think it all comes into being able to run your program, run your organization, right? If you take that completely away, not just 95% away or not just 5% away, like, are you really hurting that team? But I'm telling you, you want to get stuff where people get them 7-figure fines from the players to the teams, to these agents, to these managers. Get tough on these people, man. And NCAA, I think they're going to be all about that, man. They probably have these lawyers on call and drawing up this paperwork and getting all this stuff done. But being a judge, being in court case, I see all the time. Somebody suing somebody for a 7th year. I've seen that 4 times in the last, week, that people are now suing to get more eligibility. Man, I couldn't even get crackers in college.
I know.
And these kids getting
Peanut butter
another
and jelly
year,
sandwich?
another year to possibly
You're
make
out for the year.
High 6 figures, 7 figures.
You going to pay us back for that slice of pizza, young man?
I'm serious. They was really charging you up like that. But, I'm telling you, you want to affect somebody, start getting that bottom line, right? But these telling coaches you can't show up on game day ain't doing nothing because you ain't affecting their pocket. They still probably getting paid. Hey, unless you put the nomenclature non-paid, you're not getting paid for those weeks. That affects because I'm telling you, head coaches that aren't getting paid ain't showing up to practice either. But if they're still getting paid, you're not really doing anything with that. So there is legs, teeth, whatever you want to say to this, but it's how they do it, right? And it can't just be a headline like, oh, yeah, we suspended so-and-so. Like, what does that suspension actually entail?
Right. We'll see. I would love to see some governing body or some commissioner or somebody enforce some kind of structure and rules. Right? We all agree that there needs to be some kind of structure and rules in this new world of college football.
Oh, yeah.
And college sports in general, but specifically college football, because that's where the massive amounts of money are. That's where the massive amounts of NIL are, with the exception of some basketball stars and some viral video stars in other sports. Mm-hmm. The money's in football. And there's got to be some guardrails set up, and there's got to be a system that works for everybody. Who's going to enforce it? I just don't have any faith that it's going to be the NCAA. I don't believe the NCAA has any more teeth because they've had their pantsuit off again and again and again ever since the courts ruled in favor of NIL in the first place.
Right.
Name, image, and likeness.
Right.
That precedent is clear, and the NCAA loses again and again and again. So they're like, I'm not doing anything. This is them kind of getting back in the game a little bit, per se. I don't know.
Here's the thing. Like, I look at it.
I'll see. I'll believe it when I see it.
We thought NCAA was losing. But again, were they losing because of headlines or was their bottom line affected? I don't think the NCAA's bottom line was affected from NIL.
Oh, no, of course not.
Right,
I mean, the NCAA in general, the NCAA still has the men's basketball tournament, which is a revenue juggernaut.
Huge.
Look, the NCAA is fine.
Right. So when you're talking about losing,
the NCAA and college football,
yeah,
are not in a good relationship right now.
No, it's not. And
I'm talking about Power 4 college football.
Correct.
Division 2, Division 3, even FCS.
G5,
I'm
yeah.
not. That's
like
even G5. It's a little rocky.
Right.
Anywhere where there's NIL and this stuff going on, anywhere where there's transfer stuff going on.
Significant NIL.
Anywhere where the transfer portal is really, really having an impact.
Right. But, hey, man, I don't know. I just think it takes, and as I said, like even when NIL got started, there was probably headlines and articles and videos all put out of possibilities. We're just having actual, factual things of this stuff happening now. But I think there's going to be some serious oversight to all of this. If NCAA is actually going to stand up, because I did say this when it first got started, I'm just like, I think the NCAA is just allowing chaos to happen, right? They want chaos to happen so they can come in and start instilling rules, right? Because if it's all wild, everybody can do whatever they want. It's a lawless organization. There's just so many things you can pick out as far as examples, court cases and this and that as to why you're implementing such and such rule and such violation, right? They're allowing money to flow through without any type of regulation because they want to know what they can charge those people later, right? that player is now getting 7 figures, right? What if they put guardrails on that before where he can only get a certain amount of money? That's not as much money as the NCAA could fine you for before then. But let it go wild. Let these billionaires pay. Let these organizations does it. See what the money is doing, all that. And then I know what to instill on you as far as fees go. This is huge for the NCAA. Now, the public needs to charge up NCAA. What you doing with that fine money? What are you doing with that? Are you improving these communities? What are you doing with all that for the people, right? And that's a whole other conversation. But, you know, I wholeheartedly believe when they started all this NIL stuff is I thought the NCAA wanted chaos to happen so they can come in down the road and start instilling the rules that they want. And we're slowly starting to see that here in the next few years.
The other thing that I'm excited about, because I'm not so hopeful on this stuff that's going to have really impact. I just don't buy it. But I would like to see changes to the calendar. And you hear coaches talking about this, Sly. And I know we're probably in agreement on this, on some of the things with the calendar. There's some changes that need to happen to the college football calendar. We don't need a national championship game on January 21st. That should happen on January 1st, as traditionally it used to. Right. A transfer portal window. They already got rid of the one in March, but that needs to be in January. But after everything's done, like, you can't have a transfer portal when, like, the playoffs begin. You know what I mean? Like, this is weird, right? The playoffs were still going on while there was a transfer portal going on. You know, there's flexibility with spring practices, other things. Starting the season in 0 week. Like, let's get this thing.
I love that.
We don't have to start after Labor Day. Let's just go.
Yeah, let's go. I agree.
Shift the calendar a little bit.
That increases training camp to start a little sooner in July.
Exactly.
You don't have that dead period in July when all we're watching is baseball.
Right.
And I like championship weekend to be Thanksgiving weekend, right? That used to be exciting,
100%.
Exciting rivalry weekend.
And if you're going to get rid of the championship game weekend with an expanded playoff, so be it. But give us some playoffs on Thanksgiving weekend.
Yeah, give us some playoffs.
Hey?
Yeah, I like that.
Shift things back.
I like that.
I guess you call it back or forward, however you want to look at it. We don't need to have a national championship game on January 19th.
At the latest, maybe the 10th, 8th.
The week after
New Year's at the latest.
Max.
But New Year's Day, watching national champion, I'm never going to forget 2005 with Reggie Bush and Vince Young. Of course. Epic.
Texas,
People got time to watch.
People are home.
Epic, right? I don't want to see the first round or the second round of the playoffs at that point. I want to see when it's all on the line, right, at that point.
And the NCAA, I mean, college football is not competing with the NFL playoffs, so just stop.
Yeah.
Okay? I know people love college football, but you're not competing with the NFL.
It's not happening.
Let's fix some things. Let's fix the
Take advantage of what you can, right? December is the NFL is kind of winding down towards the end of the season, but you can maximize this. We already do with all the bowl games, but now you're making it more of a feature piece for all of December. December is college football, right?
Yeah.
Make December college football month, right? And that, I think you could get so many other services from Apple TV to Netflix to everybody being partners in trying to increase viewership that month of December. Month of November and December are big spending months for people. Keep that. January is not a big spending month. People trying to recalibrate and figure out what the heck they just spent their money on the last quarter, right? Maximize that December dollar if you're the NCAA and own December. It makes sense in a lot of different ways, and all you did was bump the season up a couple weeks. I see a win-win right there.
Absolutely. Let's change the calendar, so that's positive. All right, we got to take a break. When we come back, it's Would You Rather. I'll stick with that football theme next. JJ and Alex, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Listen, everybody. Real-life hypotheticals to get your brain churning. As JJ and Alex ask, would you rather?
Scotty G's in San Diego tonight. Calling the game as the Utah State Aggies take on the Aztecs. Boo. You hear that game right here on the KSL Sports Zone. But tomorrow, Scotty's got to get back to work here Because he's got to be at RGS Exteriors from noon to 3 hanging out with Tim Brown at 4235 Farm Road in West Jordan. So join Scotty Thursday as he's at RGS Exteriors from noon to 3. Here's a would you rather, Sly, and it builds on the conversation we just had because I was thinking the same thing while you brought it up. But the calendar needing to be moved so that you mentioned December's for college football. And I agree. I think it should be. And I think the playoffs should take place in December every week. And that would be unbelievable. The FCS does it that way. Mm-hmm. Why shouldn't Power 4 do their playoffs the same way? We don't need a national championship game on January 19th on Monday night after a weekend of NFL football. It just feels like it's, I don't know. It's like, why are we playing this game now? Why didn't we do this 2 or 3 weeks ago? Right. You know what I mean? Like it feels like there's a time to wrap it up. You know when somebody's like lingering at your house a little too long? You love them, but dude, don't you need to get to your job or something?
So what you about to do? What you want?
You've been on vacation for 14 days and you're just hanging out on my couch.
Yeah.
Like, don't you need to be somewhere?
Right.
We love you, but man, I mean, we love college football, don't get me wrong, but why do we need to have a game on January 19th? I don't think we do.
Well, yeah, I think it's just the saturation. You just kind of...
Well, you're at that point, you're already in the NFL playoffs. Right?
Take advantage of your time when you have it.
It's kind of an afterthought, especially if it's not that intriguing of a national championship game.
Right.
Now, we were fortunate this year. I thought we got a great game and we got a great matchup. Not traditionally, it's not like Indiana-Miami. Man, I've been waiting a long time to see that. But it turned out to be a great football game and a great national championship game and a great champion. But in January, I think I'm about the NFL. So it brought to mind this question, and I'll pose it to you. Would you rather, if you got to choose between watching a college football playoff game or a NFL playoff game, which would you rather watch if you got to choose? One, they're both on at the same time.
It's not the national championship.
Not the national championship game, but it's also not the Super Bowl. It's a playoff game and a playoff game.
I'm watching the NFL all the time.
Playoff versus playoff.
All day. Right?
Because I think 95% of the people listening right now, I think you'd say the same thing.
Well, yeah, if you think about it, right?
Like, and you'd vote with your remote.
I love college football because you start to find people that are hidden gems and yada, yada, yada. But what you're really wanting is great sports. Great sports engagement from your childhood memories with your dad or your parents or whatever gear you found at the DI and it's now your favorite team. It's the NFL, right? And those are essentially college all-star teams on every team, but in the playoffs, it's the all-stars, right? And it's great football, and every play matters into determining whether you're in or out, man. And so I don't want to watch JMU versus Oregon when I could be watching the Houston Texans versus the Patriots, right? I'm picking that game over that all the time.
Right.
So agree, understand where you can maximize your viewership, maximize your ratings, maximize your fandom, right? And you're not making, and this is what I always determine. I'm just like, you see these stadiums packed everywhere, right? You know, from Buffalo Bills fans to Minnesota Vikings to NBA stadiums to this and that. How do they choose which weekend they're going to go to what? Right? Because essentially, can they do it all? Can they go to a Boston Celtics, Bruins, New England Patriots, whatever college team is over there?
You're going to run out of funds at some point, right?
Can you do it all?
Yeah,
right?
Probably not.
And so
you're going to have to make some consumer choices.
Exactly. So I just
even
think
just from a viewing perspective, you're going to have to make some consumer choices.
You have to think about the end user at all that, the customer, which is your main focus or should be your main focus anyway. What can make it easier for them to spend their money? And that's making sure you maximize your dollar and your time spent and owning your square space, which should be December and New Year's Day. New Year's Day in December is college. They should be doing that.
On Saturdays.
Yep,
I agree. I'm choosing NFL over college every time.
Yeah.
And I think there's a lot of you out there that may disagree with that, but the majority of you, based on TV ratings, based on some facts, based on research I have on my laptop right now, you're picking the NFL each and every time. We're going to pick the NHL next. Hockey is back. The Mammoth are back tonight. And Mike Foltz is back on JJ and Alex. We're going to hear from the play-by-play voice next on JJ and Alex, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.